Hi, thank you for watching this video about email etiquette for teens. Um, you know, in my role, I get a lot of emails from students, and what I notice is that not everyone uh, starts their email in a polite or courteous way. I mean, for a large part, you do, but I think what happens is when you don't understand email etiquette, your message actually gets lost. And so I did some research about what email etiquette for teens is. And what I noticed is that almost every college and university across the US has information for their students about how to email professors or how to send out professional emails. So this is not something unique to our school or our community, but it's something that now that we're all doing distant learning and that you will be relying on email more than usual, this is something that you can utilize and something that's going to last you a lifetime when you understand the subtleties of etiquette. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see the presentation, and we will review what the pointers are and guidelines for email etiquette actually is. So email etiquette for teens, guidelines to follow when sending messages to adults. So you already have mastered all forms of electronic communication by now. However, professional correspondence and correspondence to your teachers has a few unwritten expectations. So following are some pointers to keep in mind. Use a professional email address. You may prefer to be known by a witty screen name, but you risk not being taken seriously and the possibility of your email landing in the spam folder. So I recommend creating a professional email address with your first name and last name. Use a formal salutation. Correspondence to adults should have a certain level of formality, including a standard greeting. It's best to address your recipient as dear Mr., Ms., Mix, or Doctor. If you're unsure about which to use, a quick Google search will usually help to clarify. And this is actually important. I get a lot of emails that start with, "Hey, Amy." And while that's my first name, I'm usually not accustomed to being addressed that way by students. Lead with a clear subject line. A concise and specific subject line will help your reader know exactly what to expect. For example, if you're writing to a teacher asking for a favor, you may use the subject "request for letter of recommendation." Be clear, polite, and succinct. Emails to adults should be a request for advice or information you're not able to easily find online, rather than solicitations for them to do the searching for you. So as you enter college, develop a habit of including your student ID. So an example of this is I get a lot of messages asking me to find students internships. And I always have to go back to the student and say, well, this is actually something that you should do because I don't know everything about you and what your actual interests are. So things that emails where you would have to provide a lot of personal information, those are probably things that you should be doing yourself. But if you're asking for a favor, like a letter of recommendation, or maybe to follow up on a conversation that you had, or a request for feedback on a paper, then those are appropriate questions to seek more advice on. Before sending, review your copy and make sure that it meets these criteria. It's written in complete, coherent sentences. There's no spelling errors, and no part of it's written in all caps. So I know a lot of phones might have a default of all caps, and we get in the habit of of sending emails through our phone. So if you can disable the all caps feature and then send a message, that you can still use your phone, just don't leave it in all caps. Make sure you sign off with a thank you. It's common courtesy to thank someone for their time and help. End your email with a thank you or best and your full name. Most adults receive many emails a day, so clearly identifying yourself is the best way to ensure that you get a response. And again, a lot of us use our phone to send messages, and maybe we use the text feature. And when we do that, yes, it'll go into our email inbox, but it doesn't necessarily have your name on it, so it can be confusing and requires a lot of research. And not everyone is willing to do the investigating to find out who's sending the messages. So always sign your name. Boost your image with a strong email signature. So you can set this up. Almost every email will have the signature feature in the settings, and there's no exact template you have to follow, but your ultimate goal should be to clearly state who you are and how to easily contact you. So an example is the photo I have, or the image here. Include essential information such as your name, school, and expected graduation year. Limit your signature to a few lines. Use colons or pipes to separate. Include your preferred email address and phone number. Avoid fancy fonts, colors, graphics, and inspirational quotes. And I also want to add that some students, perhaps if you are trying to nurture a professional image, you might want to include links to your social media accounts such as LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, as long as they complement the image you're hoping to convey. And make sure these are accounts with professional message. And I use that example because a lot of our students want to go into cinematography or music or other kind of talent industries. And so they do have the social media accounts that complement the image they're trying to portray. A few final thoughts are: emails are forever. You cannot take back what gets sent, and without a clear tone of voice, it can easily sound offensive. So read your messages before you send it, and keep in mind that some issues are better discussed in person. If it can't be wrapped up in a short paragraph, consider making an appointment or visiting office hours. Patience is a virtue. We all like instant gratification, but everyone is busy, and sometimes a reply takes more time than you'd hope. If your question or concern is time sensitive, it may be appropriate to write a follow-up email, but be realistic about your expectations. And practice common courtesy. If you expect timely, helpful replies, you should do the same for others. And check your email regularly and respond as soon as you're able. And below is a link of where I found this information. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and good luck this semester. Thank you.